Hello again. So today, I was actually a few days back. Actually, I was listening to a YouTube video, and something struck me in terms of what was said in that YouTube video. And the guy was talking about stories, and it kind of just resonated with me in terms of one about my childhood, and that as children, we may be tucked in at night time and told a story before we go to bed. And I thought to myself about how powerful that is in terms of the stories that we're told, and clearly the stories kind of live with us, live within us, in terms of our own life and where we're going. But equally, what was powerful for me was the fact that actually in all of our lives we are told a story, but actually we currently live within a story, and actually we're crafting and drawing our story of what we want to do, where we want to go, how we're going to go about doing that. And it just really resonated for me, kind of quite profoundly, about how I'm crafting my own story, and actually that we all have stories in our lives, and it could be a chapter that's perhaps very difficult and challenging for us, and then equally then we may have a chapter that's equally fulfilling and thrilling and provides adventure, and but we throughout are always kind of crafting our story in our lives. And I kind of think, look at your lives, what story are you scripting for yourself right now? In every moment we have the power to script our life in a very different way. And I thought back to when you've been told stories, so for example when you're children, and we go back to that stage where our parents are telling us stories, and how we love the stories, but equally what's powerful about going back to that place is that we now, where we are now, have the power to script our own stories about where we want to go, how we want to get there, and the way that we're going to get there. And that's broken down in terms of the decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis about who we are, what we are, and the story that we tell ourselves. Now, for example, I know kind of many moons back, in terms of my own confidence and my own ability, the story that I was scripting for myself was one of, that I couldn't do things, and that I wouldn't, I just kind of stay within my shell. And it's funny that once we start to understand that we can script or re-script our lives in a kind of a more positive and a profound, we start stepping into our lives by kind of scripting our stories, and almost kind of taking the control of that pencil, and writing our scripts in terms of the way that we want it, as opposed to kind of almost putting the pencil down and having it there, and you kind of almost feel it's writing itself because you're not doing anything. So I kind of thought I wanted to share that today about stories, and I suppose I would kind of encourage yourselves about what stories are you crafting in your lives, and how are you going about doing that. Is it a story that you've told yourself time and time again? Some of my stories were a story that I came to believe about my own confidence and my own ability, but actually that was a story that I've choose to now discard, and now working on a different story that's more empowering and more enriching in terms of where I'm going. So yeah, I'd just like you to kind of, I suppose, have a think about the stories that you're scripting right here and right now, and are they the stories that you want to be telling your grandchildren, if that kind of makes sense, or you want to be sharing with other people, or is it the kind of a story that you kind of feel very much like you want to keep to yourself? So yeah, just all about stories, and what story are you scripting for yourself right now? Okay, bye.